Hello, dear friends. I hope you're doing really well. Let's continue reading. We are in the Gospel of John, chapter 11, verse 25. And this chapter is remarkable because this is where Jesus resurrects Lazarus, and something impossible pretty much for any human being. And not only impossible, and so much more than that, because at least for me, Lazarus was dead already 4 days. His body was decomposing, dear friends, and Jesus resurrected him right. I mean, in easily. So let's read John 11:25. Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live even if he dies, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord, I have believed that you are the Christ, the Son of God, even he who comes into the world." When she had said this, she went away and called Mary, her sister, saying secretly, "The teacher is here and is calling for you." And when she heard it, she got up quickly and was coming to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still in the place where Martha met him. Then the Jews who were with her in the house and consoling her, when they saw that Mary got up quickly and went out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to weep there. Therefore, when Mary came where Jesus was, she saw him and fell at his feet, saying to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and was troubled, and said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus wept. So the Jews were saying, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not this man who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man also from dying?" So Jesus, again being deeply moved within, came to the tomb. Now it was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, "Remove the stone." Martha, the sister of the deceased, said to him, "Lord, by this time there will be a stench, for he has been dead 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not say to you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they removed the stone. Then Jesus raised his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but because of the people standing around, I said it so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." The man who had died came forth, bound hand and foot with wrappings, and his face was wrapped around with a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Therefore many of the Jews who came to Mary and saw what he had done believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them the things which Jesus had done. So what a great miracle. And let's not forget, what is important, really important, is that thanks to this huge miracle, many, many believed. And that's what's necessary for salvation: believing in Jesus Christ. He is God, the Son of God. He died on the cross, paid for my sins and your sins. He was buried, and then he rose on the third day. Okay, so believe. Thanks to this huge miracle, Jesus resurrected Lazarus. Huge, impossible for us. But Jesus is the resurrection and the life. He said it himself. He's a resurrection and the life. And he said, and he who believes in me, says Jesus, will live even if he dies. So if we believe in him, we will live even if we die. So what a great miracle. Jesus was moved, really moved, and sad. And even says in the very famous verse 35, what does verse 35 say? It says that Jesus wept. I think it's one of the shortest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept. He was so moved by this situation, by the death of Lazarus, and by the pain that Mary and Martha they were going through. So he wept. He's God is not made of stone. God knows and feels everything. So the Jews were saying, see how they say how he loved him. But then, Jesus called Lazarus, right? What did Jesus said? He said, let me see, it's in verse. He cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. That's how he called him. And Lazarus came forth. He did. And when he came out, he was all like tied up and covered in wrappings, like a mummy. Like a mummy, he came out. But he was alive, completely alive. And so, Jesus said, unbind him, and they let him go. So thanks to this miracle, so many are going to believe, because what's going to happen, and we're going to know, I think later in this chapter or next chapter, people are going to go just to see Lazarus, because they know he had died. So they're going to go see him. And because they see him alive, they believe Jesus. So many people are going to believe thanks to this miracle. But unfortunately, those religious leaders that don't believe in Jesus, they envy him, they don't believe in him, they're gonna, they just don't know what to do. Because how can you deny something like this? How can you deny that somebody that resurrects a person that was dead for 4 days? This person cannot be just a regular human being. Jesus is 100% man, 100% God. Only God can give life. And Jesus said it himself, he's the resurrection and the life. So I'm going to stop there, and hopefully we can continue tomorrow with verse 46. Bye-bye.